Well, if you're like 99.7% of comic buyers, at least in terms of where the money goes, you may not know about the controversy surrounding Dynamite. Well, let's get into what that is. Why are they in trouble? Why are people talking about them? Is it because they've got an exciting new comic coming up? Is it because there's been another scandal involving one of their creators? Well, you're getting warmer on that last one, but nope, this is actually something dumber. Hey everybody, this is Perch. Dynamite Comics represents a tiny fraction of the comic industry. And I say that because you wouldn't guess if you were on Twitter or social media over the last week where Dynamite was a topic on a lot of people's minds. A lot of comments, a lot of conversations, and a lot of bold proclamations from creators wanting to take a big stand against this company. So what did they do? Well, before I get into that, let me give you the too long didn't read version. So if you just want to skip out and hit the downvote or whatever you want to do, where this video is going. I think everyone is stupid. The Comicsgate side is stupid. The anti-Comicsgate side is stupid. That's where this is going. No, this isn't a middle of the road take. It's kind of a sane take, and you'll understand why. So to get the facts basically out, Dynamite offers a program, which they did last year, that basically says if you want to come in, you want to make a variant cover for your store, for whatever it happens to be, that you can do a minimum commit of orders, basically buy in, and they'll print a variant cover for you. And they'll send you the copies, kind of a print on demand for variants. And this, what they originally intended was really for stores. I think that's kind of what they had in mind, and probably some artists to do some commission work. And when this program first launched, there was a lot of praise, actually, in the industry. A lot of artists were happy about this and saying, hey, it could give them some freedom to maybe promote one of their projects, do something kind of, get some extra money. A lot of people happy. And then Ethan Van Sciver, who's got a comic called Cyberfrog, took advantage of this program, basically did a Cyberfrog cover with some of the Dynamite characters, Vampirilla, I believe, and people were mad. And there was a lot of outrage and anger, and then that kind of settled down as people pointed out that really what he was doing was taking advantage of this program that anyone could take advantage of, and that he had bought in order to do this, and it really wasn't Dynamite declaring an affiliation one way or another. Now, a lot of smaller voice, the Colin Space Twinks and so those kinds of people were still mad. They wanted Dynamite to basically outlaw the people they didn't like from using this program. But if you're at all smart or a lawyer or just not stupid and ideologically crazy, you'd recognize as soon as you get in there and you start putting rules of say, here's this program anyone can use, but not you or not you, and you make these rules too restrictive, you'll kill your own program. Either you're going to get sued because you're drawing a line that seems kind of arbitrary, or you're just, you're going to lose interest. People are going to be unwilling to even buy in the first place because they don't know if they're going to get canceled online, and it's not worth anybody's time. So the controversy kind of settled down a little bit, and then things kind of bumped along. And then within the course of a couple weeks, kind of two things happened. So first, there's a comic by a guy named Cecil, who basically is, I don't know the analogy. I barely know this guy, but he always feels like the kind of the Rob Schneider to the Adam Sandler of Van Sciver, and he's got a comic out that he's doing with, I believe, Donald DeLay, and he's going to do a cover now, and this was a cliff too far. But also, and I'm getting the timeline a little mixed up here, the Dynamite CEO, for whatever reason, joined one of these live streams and apparently donated some money, did a super chat. Nobody's quite sure why or what's going on there. But anyway, Nick Barrucci was in a Comicsgate live stream or streams, and this was part of the whole couple weeks ago, the whole Whisper Network, or has it been a couple weeks ago? Who knows? Anyway, people are pointing out, hey, he's in there. He's in one of those streams. He's a bad guy. And maybe he is, maybe he's not. Who knows? But he was in the stream and he was giving money, I guess, did a super chat. And that's problem number one. And then number two, Dynamite basically promoted this cover by Cecil as coming out. Now, I may be wrong about this, but I'm relatively certain Dynamite promotes all the covers coming out. So I don't know if this was an official declaration of support for Comicsgate. I think Dynamite is just kind of sitting out there collecting money. I think that's pretty much where they stand in this whole thing. Now, some people have speculated, it's a short step, and they're testing the waters for printing the Comicsgate projects, and maybe they are, maybe they're not. Who knows? We've seen no real indication of that, but I would say in today's current climate, if Dynamite thinks they can make money off that, more money than they'll lose, then who knows? Probably they will. Whether people like this or not, and this is kind of where this whole video gets to, as a consumer, if you got to go with what you like, and there's going to be people that are going to print things you don't like, and people who are going to disappoint you. A lot of people were huge fans of Warren Ellis, and now they're not huge fans of Warren Ellis. This stuff happens all the time. You just kind of have to wrap your head around it, that you're going to have to start paying for things you like. One of the interesting things about this huge boycott and everything else is they're often wrapped up in Trump. And there's people who like Trump. There's people who absolutely hate Trump. Notice, though, we don't get these big calls for boycotts and everything else to Marvel, because Ike Perlmutter, who's very much attached to Marvel, very much a part of that company, and if you've read articles in the last year, still is, making some decisions. He's on Trump's cabinet. I mean, if you're going to be, if you think this guy is the worst person in the world, and a lot of people do, Trump gets compared to Nazis and all kinds of things on a regular basis, then you shouldn't be supporting Marvel. I'm just saying. I mean, if you want to go that direction, you shouldn't. But those boycotts never quite hit Marvel. Now, at any kind of big level. Why is that? Well, because Marvel employs a lot of people. And to a lot of people in the comics industry, that's a paycheck. And if you go after them, then that's definitely somebody who can pay you. And so they won't go that far until they're absolutely sure. Like Alex DeCampi has no issues attacking Marvel because she's not getting any work there. But anyway, where all this sits. So finally, kind of the dam bursts, and a bunch of people are angry all at once. And then some articles get written about massive, the like Screen Rant says, Dynamite loses top talent and faces huge backlash. Well, first of all, the major talent, I think, is a bit of a, top talent, major talent. Let's back that up a little bit. The biggest name kind of to come out of this and say that they're out is Mark Russell, who's, he's a guy, he's a writer, he's got some books out. I don't know if I'm thinking about the comic industry as a whole. I'm not thinking that's top talent, but your mileage may vary. And then Christian Ward, Doc Shaner, Carla Pacchio. There's been a few people, and then a handful of reviewers like AIPT and the Xavier Files and a couple others have come out saying we will no longer review Dynamite books. That's okay. In many cases, these places weren't reviewing Dynamite books in the first place. So, what changed exactly? And, and then Ryan Higgins, he runs a shop in California, I believe, is like, we will no longer be stocking Dynamite comics at the store. A lot of people make these comments. And here's where I'll take a step back again for a moment. If you're a comic shop, then you need to be stocking what people will buy. Now, saying I'm no longer going to stock Dynamite is a nice, safe bet for you as a comic shop, because the reality is, again, based on the numbers, less than 1% of people are buying Dynamite comics. So if you lose them, okay, it's not going to really mean much. But I'm tired of these comic shops in general making these comments about I'm not going to stock this. And it cuts both ways, by the way. People like to go all in like it's one side doing this. But I've been on plenty of streams, and I've been other places where people are like, well, these comics are going SJWs. I'm not going to carry DC anymore. Or I'm not going to carry Marvel anymore. It's like, no, sorry. Of course you are. Don't be ridiculous. You're still going to carry this stuff. Any comic shop that's making these bold statements, and this dates all the way back to when comic shops are going all in on Antarctic because of the Jawbreakers thing. If people come in and they want to buy something, 99 shops out of 100 are going to sell it because they want to stay in business. No matter what kind of thing no matter what kind of, applause they get on Twitter, they're going to sell it anyway. Of course they are. It's silly to suggest otherwise. But people like to make statements, and so they're doing this. And again, these smaller companies, Antarctic, Diamond, and others are they're easy ones to do. Overall, and this is why at the very beginning when I said everyone was silly, people need to stop with the boycotts and this ridiculous, this over-the-top ridiculousness. The amount of people on a daily basis who say things like, that's why I boycott Marvel, that's why I boycott DC, that's why I boycott Antarctic or Dynamite or, Oni or Boom or Vault. Just buy what you want. Just buy what you want and shut up about it enough. It's just, people come off ridiculous when they do this. And then the step two ridiculousness is, let's just stop with the over-the-top estimations of people. It's like the people working at Marvel are all socialist commies. The people working at Dynamite are now all Nazis who are trying to invoke genocide. They're making comics. You can like it, you can don't like it. And as I've said consistently, if you don't like it, don't buy it. And you can complain about it. I'm not saying you can't go online and complain about it. Just stop making these over-the-top generalizations. It's enough to just say, I don't like this person's a jerk. It's enough. You don't need to make them the next Hitler. They can just be a jerk. So overall, this is another one of those controversies that kind of means nothing, but there is a shining bit of light in here. And when I say shining bit of light, there's some hope. And that hope is, so far, Dynamite has ignored this entire thing. They're not posting a bunch of support for, the Comicsgate people, and they're not posting a retraction and apology either. A lot of people are yelling for it. Some of this idea of a boycott is they're demanding an apology. They're demanding a retraction. And so far, Diamond's just kind of ignoring all of it. And frankly, that's the sane approach that all companies need to start doing. Because the more that you weigh in, whichever side is demanding that you weigh in, and again, there'll be people who are mad about this. This is where some of the downvotes will come from. For all the people who are saying the cancel culture crew is trying to cancel Comicsgate or cancel Diamond, sorry, I keep saying Dynamite, etc. At the same time, there's calls to cancel Marvel. There's calls to get people unemployed there. There's Sana Amanat must go or else. There's this constant attempt to get rid of people. Just don't buy it. Just don't buy the comic. And by the way, it may not happen as fast as you like, but it does happen. Eventually, the market does correct these problems. Every time. It turns out that things that sell stay in business. Things that do not go out of business. But I'm optimistic, at least, if Dynamite, I'm just going to do that every time. If Dynamite just continues to ignore this, see if it works. They've got a program. If they're making money off of it, great. I fully expect, and this is where, if people want to get really clever about it, the anti-Comicsgate crowd put out a cover there. Why not? Who cares? The only interesting thing that comes out of all this that just hasn't happened yet is a lot of these variant covers use characters like Vampirella or Red Sonja, who many of you may know as the vampire chick with the big breasts or the medieval chick with the big breasts. The original license holders of those characters, what do they think about all this? And I'm not talking about being attached to one group or another. I'm talking about, are they happy that their characters are, hanging off Cecil or maybe, next issue in some kind of Transformers rip-off car? Or, are they cool with their brands being used this way? I mean, that's an interesting question to kind of go into. But other than that, it's just silly. And I know some people will view this and go oh, he's supporting one side or the other. No, I'm supporting making money, and I wish people would just stop, take a step back, and look at themselves, because some of this over-the-top stuff, I mean, Mark Russell went on a full-blown kind of tirade about, equating the Diamond CEO to exterminating Jewish people. I mean, it's yikes. This is just silly. And it is a safe target to go after. Again, Dynamite represents nothing in the market. Well, for all intents and purposes. This comic that gets sold is their attempt to, make some cash, which all companies are trying to do right now. Now, should they be cozying up, so to speak, with these companies? I mean, the guy showing up in the super chats is weird, I guess. But I would say that in any super chat, if you're running a comic company at all, what's your plan there? Are you trying to get an audience? Are you trying to build brand support? If so, cool. I mean, that's what you got to do to stay alive. If you're just showing up in super chats, all right. I mean, it's his life, though. What do I care? It's his life. This whole situation is a funny one, and it's interesting to see it burn out. It's interesting to see it go through. And all things considered, I just, with all the problems that the comic industry is facing right now, I mean, this is the one I guess we're gonna focus on. I guess. I don't know. Just it's a lot of noise about something that's going to ultimately make very little money. And so for people to devote this much airtime, this much attention, and in some cases cut off job opportunities to take a stand against what? A variant program scheme? And by the way, some people will come in and they will say, no, you're missing the point. The point is that it's a cover by a group that posts hateful things and goes after women and is antagonistic in the industry. And to that I would say, then don't give them any money. Just don't. If you're buying Red Sonja by Gail Simone, are you supporting Comicsgate because some tiny fraction of that dollar goes to Diamond and it goes to a CEO who shows up and then gives something to a super chat to Van Sciver? Is that, I mean, it's just, that's a path to madness. Now, everybody is free to take whatever stand you want. It's just, you got to realize that your dollars are going to all kinds of things you support and don't support on any given time. If you're going to Target, your dollars are going to things you probably don't like. If you buy gas at Exxon or Starbucks, well, you don't buy gas at Starbucks, but you get the point. If you're buying a product anywhere, your money's going to many, many different places, some of which things you like, some of which things you don't like. So where are you going to draw that line? It's your own individual decision. Everybody can do it. I just think if you absolutely hate what Comicsgate and their comics stand for, then there's an easy solution. Don't buy their comics. That's the number one thing you can do. Beyond that, you're investing a lot of time into something of very questionable value. The funny part is, like all things, and I said the same thing when the Comicsgate crowd was going after the pervert, all this is doing is actually giving free promotion to this Cecil guy's cover that will probably sell more now. So, way to go. If you hate it, you've helped fund it. I mean, your call. What do you think? I may have this wrong. By all means, let me know your thoughts on this. This is a bunch of the big ado about nothing for a company that has a very tiny impact in the industry, that's just trying to do their thing and make money, and you either support it or you don't. But all the fuss about it, the people kind of declaring they will never work for it again. I mean, all right. I mean, okay. Your call. Leave me a comment below with what you think about it, any side. And again, this is another case where I'd be happy to have some people on pro and anti to talk it through, but I don't see the end game here. So somebody help me with that. Like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter or Facebook at Comic Perch, and thanks for listening.